My name is Sean. I'm a hobbyist and illustrator, and I'm representing my channel, The Amateur with Access. And as the title of the video probably let you know, I have in my hands the Affinity Publisher Workbook. It looks good, but all that I guess I'll get to later. This is not going to be a review. This is more of me really just looking at the book and ranting a little bit, because as a CorelDRAW user, this might be the time for me to make a switch. So everything here is laid out pretty well. I do like how right here in the beginning it says that this book was basically created with the software it's covering, and you really shouldn't necessarily have to say that, but it does give you a little bit of confidence about what it is that you're investing in, that they're actually using it to create what they're selling to you. So that, I think, is a plus, and probably a little necessary on their part to let you know. You can see that there's only around about 5 chapters, even though this book is gigantic. It's really pretty heavy. If you look at it here, you might not get a sense of scale. This is my mouse. That might let you know a little bit more about how large this book is. But even then, it's not really an indication of how heavy it may be. So I'm going to take this book I have for CorelDRAW. Came back when I was buying CorelDRAW, and you can see it's quite a bit larger than that. And let's just kind of show you the spine here. It's kind of, it's pretty massive. And I say that in this reminds me of being back in high school days of the math book that was causing you future back problems. As you can see here, the book does cover the Studio Link that integrates the Affinity apps. That's one of the major reasons why I was really interested in this particular program, because if you use most of the other art programs, you're going to have to go from one app and then import and export, and it's a little bit, it kind of can make you a little sidetracked. But with this Studio Link, you can pretty much stay all day inside of this particular program and do everything you need to do as far as vector and raster artwork. I didn't just get this book, I also got the Affinity Photo Workbook and the Affinity Designer Workbook. So pretty well equipped to take on this new software. Only for me, the thing's been out for a while, but I'm just now going to be taking this a little bit more seriously. And I believe I'm going to start with Affinity Publisher. Well, like I said before, this isn't going to be a review of the book, because who's really going to review a book that they've only had for a couple of days? But just being able to take a look at the fit and finish of the product is a little, could be comforting for some people, just to see how they've put this together. It does have really good binding. You're not really seeing a lot of the strings. Like if I were to hold that book up right there, you can see it's well bound. Not to say that the CorelDRAW book was bad, but one thing I remember noticing about it, open it up, was that you could kind of even see the strings and the glue well, you really can't see the glue, but you can kind of see every now and then when you're flipping through the pages that they're not as tightly bound, I guess is what I would say here. I'm not exactly sure what process is different here than they use there, but I'm confident that the book will last a while. Even though, as you can see, this is CorelDRAW X6, if I can get the glare out, which was a number of years ago, and this book is still lasting. It doesn't have any missing pages, so if this book lasted, then I'm pretty confident that this book will last too. So let's just take a look at some of the chapters that are in this book. And you get the regular welcome, the core skills, which is good, interface tour, page design principles, professional projects, corporate publishing projects, which is also probably pretty good for people who want to be freelancers, because that might be a source of income for you. And you even have creative projects here where they probably kind of teach you how to push the program a little bit further. I'm not going to flip through the entire book because, well, you can buy the book for that. But it is a solid reference right now. I have flipped through a little bit and seen a couple of things that are encouraging to me, that it looks like they've mapped out everything pretty well. And the website does tell you that they have covered some features of the upcoming 1.9 update, which they don't actually point out, as far as I've seen, that they are the 1.9 features, but I'm sure that when that update does drop, you'll be able to be up to speed rather quickly. So why now? I've been using CorelDRAW pretty much since CorelDRAW version 7. I learned it alongside of Illustrator back in school, and I kind of gravitated to CorelDRAW more so than Illustrator. Personal reasons. I'll get into that maybe in a different video, but they haven't been keeping up with some of the things that I would like to have seen them integrate. And this program, especially Affinity Designer, has been showing some promise as far as helping me make a transition. When the publisher program came out and they revealed that Affinity Studio Link, it kind of sealed the deal for me. I kind of said that, if I'm going to make a transition, this is probably the right time to do it. However, not entirely certain that CorelDRAW is going to be something I'm going to be completely giving up just yet. And, well, why do I say that CorelDRAW is probably still going to be in my wheelhouse? CorelDRAW doesn't really get some of the respect it deserves. It's a fairly powerful program. It really is a powerful program as far as vectors go. And it does have a strong background in that in the industry, where they can pretty much accomplish most of what you would need to as far as artistic works go. Corel actually did own a program called Corel Ventura, which I believe many of those features, well, Corel Ventura was a program that would have been a competitor to Affinity Publisher, and many of those features made their way into CorelDRAW. Believe you can actually publish books up to 999 pages, or at least that's the theory. I've never actually done it myself, but they have very strong type features, and a lot of the features that are inside CorelDRAW are kind of hidden to most people that have never actually tried the program. I am still much more comfortable working in CorelDRAW, and it's been one of the reasons why I have taken so long to make the official migration from CorelDRAW, or away from CorelDRAW, to the Affinity products. This just might be the thing, now that I have this program publisher, that pushes me completely over the top. And so far, I do like what I see inside of the Affinity products, but it's not a done deal. I think I probably will be looking forward to what comes out with CorelDRAW on their next version, which I believe is going to be CorelDRAW 2021. Their last maybe 3 versions they've had good features that they've added, but unless you were specifically looking for those features, you may have actually mistaken each one of the last 3 releases of CorelDRAW for essentially the same program. Uh, like I said, some of those features that they included were needed and actually worked pretty well. The days of CorelDRAW just basically being something that crashes all the time is not what I've been experiencing for many years now. But every program has its issues. I actually had Affinity Draw or Affinity Designer crash on me once, but that maybe only once, and I'm not sure if it was the program's fault. Um, yeah, I think that you can not simply count Corel Draw out of the picture. It is a very powerful vector program, but I think they are starting to look like the well is pretty dry as far as where they want to take this program. Most of the things that I want to do have to do with cartooning and illustration. And you can do really powerful illustration in CorelDRAW, but their addition of Corel Photo Paint. Photo Paint really hasn't significantly changed, at least for the things that I want to do, for probably the last 8 releases. They've added some features. They've made it a little bit more streamlined and less crash prone. But you would be forgiven if you didn't really even know that they had made any updates to the program. Many of the things that you'd be looking for at a program like Photo Paint, especially for like web design work, well, it works, but it's not that great. One of the things that I tried to do with Corel Photo Paint was basically to slice an image, which is phenomenally difficult, uh, at least in my opinion, and very straightforward in a program like Affinity Photo. This isn't really a review of Affinity Photo. I have the publisher book in front of us now. This is more about me being able to take advantage of that studio link that exists between all 3 of the programs of publisher and designer and photo. And simply having that ability and a good resource for uh, information to be able to navigate the program and all 3 of the programs and get to the point where I'm as proficient with this as I am with CorelDRAW. That's essentially what I'm trying to showcase here. But like I said, this is a little bit of a rant because I really would like to stick with CorelDRAW. You can do a lot of the things that I like to do with CorelDRAW. Some of them a lot easier than you can do with other programs, even a few things that are easier than the Affinity programs. Uh, but their pricing on CorelDRAW is not really all that enticing anymore, and obviously you can hardly beat the pricing that they're giving on the Affinity programs. $50 a program. These were all on sale for $35 because of Black Friday, which is why and when I picked this up. And it was, well, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, one of the two. And it was kind of hard not to go ahead and make the leap, even though I'd already had 2 of the programs before. But just to make it complete, I can now say that perhaps CorelDRAW's days are numbered on my system. Who knows? But the Affinity program, the Affinity Publisher Workbook now being in my hand, I can start going through, trying to make myself a little bit more proficient here. Perhaps even, like I said, make a complete transition. It's might be happening soon. So tell me what you think. Do you think that Affinity Publisher is, well, with this workbook, are they doing enough for people who are looking to transition out of a workflow from another software maker, or what do you think? What's your opinion of Affinity Publisher in general? I'll wait for that in the comments below. And once again, my name's Sean, and if you would be so kind, consider subscribing to this channel. Hit the little bell that they always talk about. There's somewhere here. Let me know. There's probably things you want to know about what is different between CorelDRAW and Affinity Designer, Publisher, and Photo. And drop those questions down in the comment area below, and I'll see which one of them I can get to if I have an answer. All right, thank you. This is Sean, and the channel is The Amateur with Access, showing you the Affinity Publisher Workbook.